Hello there, and welcome back into the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. I'm your host. My name is Sam Hind, and today I want to do a really quick, speedy episode for you because what I'm talking to you about also is something that is super speedy to do, yet most of us don't make the time each week to do this. Now, I don't care what sort of business you're in. These 3 hot connecting tips are universally important. From the day that I started my career in sales many years ago to where I am now, these are things that when I apply them in my role, my business, anything that I'm doing in life, they make so much difference, not just to the growth of my business, but also to me personally. So what I want to share with you today are 3 hot connecting tips that come from someone who would consider herself to be a professional friend maker and a networking pro. And I want to share some of these tips with you right now because I know that absolutely anybody and everybody can be a networking pro. The problem is that sometimes we don't know how to go about it so that it's genuine, it feels comfortable, and it actually gets us somewhere. So, that's what we're going to talk about today. 3 hot networking tips, connecting tips that are going to build you up, they're going to build other people up, and they're going to build your business up all at the same time. So let's get stuck in. Now, I want to talk to you about 3 really simple ways to make those initial connections and build on your existing relationships. Now, something to keep in mind here is, number 1, these are so quick. If you allocate just 30 minutes once a week, which is exactly what we do inside of our Rise Up Inner Circle every week as a group, all you have to do is allocate just 30 simple minutes once a week. Pop it in your calendar and make sure that you are taking the time out to do these really simple things. When I have not made time for these, not only do I notice it within myself, and I'll tell you why in a moment, but I also notice a big difference in the growth of my business. Now, some people like to call this filling the funnel or filling the pipeline. And this is one of the easiest ways you can do that. You'll see marketers globally coming up with all of these technical ways to get people into their funnel. You know, if you can imagine what a funnel looks like, the whole idea is that you get them to enter in all sorts of different ways. You take them on a journey, and then some of them will drop out the other end of that funnel, and that is sales or business or opportunities or new team or whatever that looks like for you. The thing is that we can overcomplicate this process. So I want to really simplify this for you for a little moment because, we could have a big, long chat about funnel hacking and, all of the ways that you could market your business. But the simplest way to market your business is by simply connecting. So let's talk a little bit about that. The other thing I want to keep in mind here is that we need to enter into this process without a hidden agenda. You're going to get a much better result and you will never know what comes out of it. What I love about this process is it's kind of like a surprise. I never know where it will lead, what I'll get out of it, what new friendships or connections I'll make. Let me explain this to you. When we do these 3 things I'm about to talk to you about, we're making connections with people or building on friendships, and some of those connections will turn into clients, customers, new team for you as well. But some of them will end up becoming some of the greatest mentors and coaches that you have in your life. Some of them will be people that, become lifelong friends. Some of them will be people that you walk alongside of and you get to be a part of each other's business or journey. Some of them will mean that you connect with someone that will help somebody else and you end up connecting them together. You just never know. And some people you just learn so much from, both in challenging and good ways. So let's dive on in because, like I said, speedy episode. So let's share with you the 3 connecting tips. Now, I've noted them down just so that I can make sure I go through them in order because this is exactly the order I want, I would think of them in. And the first of those is actually the quickest, easiest, and for me, a really fun way to do it. I know some people find this challenging, but hear me out for a moment. I know that we can connect with people through messages, through email, through text, through written communication online. And for me, although that's a great thing to do, it has a very impersonal feel about it. And the reason being is you just sometimes never know when someone's reaching out after a long time or for the first time. You never know if it's just been copied and pasted to a ton of people, right? So I like to take it a little step further. And if I'm doing a little reach out and I'm taking that time to do it, I prefer to use the amazing technology that we have to leave a little voice note. Now, depending on what system you're using, whether you're using Messenger, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, SMS even, you can hold down the little microphone button where you would normally type your text. There's a little microphone button down the bottom there and leave a voice note. Now, here's why I like to do this. There's a couple of reasons. The first one is it creates curiosity and intrigue. The thing is that someone will see that message come through as a little audio message. And generally it's like they don't know what's in there. They can't see it. So it's like I've got to check this out, whereas if you see a text or a message, you can get the idea of what it's about from the first line that you can see there. And so if you're anything like me, you'll look at it and go, oh, I'll get to that later or deal with that later. Oh, I know what that's about. And they don't read it. So if you haven't written it well, then you might miss the opportunity to make that connection. So that's one of the reasons it creates curiosity and intrigue. The other reason is it's very easy to misread text. It's something that frustrates the heck out of me because you can misunderstand, misread, or misconstrue what someone's trying to say because we all write differently to the way that we speak. Or sometimes we write the way we speak, but we don't have the tonality there and it can be misinterpreted. So when you're doing it with your voice, you can have that tonality in there and people can get the idea of, what that reach out is about and the feeling that you're wanting to put into it, right? So if it's a friendly reach out, they can hear it in your voice as much as the words that you're saying. In fact, I would suggest probably the tone speaks louder than the words themselves anyway. The last reason, and by far the most important, is you using their name. So when you do that little reach out and you use their name, remember their name is the most is their favorite word. Like seriously, it's a programmed into us from birth that our name is something we're programmed to listen out for. It's the favorite word in anyone's vocabulary, whether they admit to it or not. They're programmed to hear it and respond to it. So when you use it, it gives them that sudden hit of, oh, it's me they're talking to. So first of all, they know it was just for them. It's not a copy and paste. You haven't just sent it to 50 different people. They know that you specifically reached out to them. So it makes them feel special and important. And you use their name, so of course they're going to be paying attention. So simple little voice notes just to do a reach out. Remember, no hidden agenda. So check in, ask how they're going. If you know anything about them, and if you've heard me talk about this before in lots of my trainings, I talk about my little black book, which sounds sinister, but trust me, it's not. It's where I keep a note of anything I'm learning about somebody who might be on my Hot 100 list or somebody that I want to connect with or build a relationship with for many different reasons. I'll note things down about them, or you can note it in your contacts on your phone as well, because you can't expect yourself to remember important things like their birthday or something they might have recently been through or a holiday they've just gone on or, their favorite flavor of ice cream if you happen to be lucky enough to know that, or just things that they're interested in. So it allows you, when you know that information and you've noted it down, so that when you do that reach out, you can come in there with something they actually care about. So, for example, you may learn that this person, let's just say it's Greg Hind, happens to love water skiing. We all know Greg loves water skiing. And you find out, oh my goodness, there is a water skiing event happening, in Melbourne. And they wrote this really great article, and you can then do a little voice note and a reach out to Greg and say, hey, Greg, I found this really cool article I thought you might be interested in. Thought I'd flick it through. But while I'm at it, I just wanted to see how you were doing. It's been ages, or I haven't touched base with you before or for a long time. So I just wanted to see how you were. Say hi, introduce myself, whatever that might look like for you. So you get a bit of an idea here, right? Voice note, getting to know somebody, no hidden agenda, and use their name. So this is my first favorite way of doing this. There's one last reason I love voice notes. They're so much quicker than text. Seriously, so much quicker. They take a few seconds and you're done. Whereas if you're leaving a text or a message in Messenger or an email, you got to get the text right. And you're like, you spend ages trying to write it and you're putting your emojis in. You don't need to do an emoji if you've got the tone, right? So voice notes, really super simple, easy, quick, and far more effective. So That's number one. Number two, something that you should be doing every week, in my opinion, and this is about you as much as it is about everybody else, is something that I think we haven't done much of over the last few years. And that is 1 to 2. That's all you need to do. 1 to 2 really simple get-togethers or catch-ups a week. Now, this could be a coffee with a friend. It might be meeting someone that you haven't connected with before, having an excuse to go for a lunch with somebody. This is more powerful than it seems. And the reason being is, number one, it's investing in you because it's giving you a chance to get out of your work environment and go and have a little moment with somebody. The other thing it's doing is it's giving you connection, which is a basic human need, is that connection that we've missed out on for so long. And the other thing that's really important about this is when you're doing that and you meet with someone, you're face to face, you're able to not only potentially grow your business, but I don't want you to go in there with the intention of doing that. But what you're also going to do is you're going to learn from somebody else. When we have conversations with people, I've just been for a beautiful lunch with someone that I've been connecting with online for a long time, just through various events and things that we've both taken part in, but I've never actually met properly in person. We sat down, we had a lunch together. It just took 1 hour out of my week. And I was able to gain some knowledge, some understanding, learn from them, whilst also building and connecting a new relationship. The thing about this is that it impacts you as much as it does impact them. And there is so much that we've got to learn from other beautiful human beings out there. Sometimes those connections don't end necessarily well. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples of this because I don't want that to come across the wrong way. But sometimes when you meet with someone, you think we just didn't gel, or they said something that bothered me, or it might be worse than that. But when these things happen, I love to get a little bit curious because I really truly believe that everyone is showing us something, even when they don't realize that they're doing it. So I had a little incident with someone that I actually connected with last week. I knew this person 10 years ago. I did some learning with them actually. And I did this process, as I do every week, reach outs. And I tried to connect with them. And what happened was that the response that I got back was super abrupt. The reason being was that since I met with them last time, well, obviously things have changed a lot. And they actually went to my website. You guys will get a laugh out of this, right? They went to my website and learned that I now only work with people in direct selling. This particular person has a real problem with pyramid selling, which we all know is illegal and it's not what we do. But as we've all faced this from time to time, and I reckon I'm probably preaching to the converted here because you guys have all experienced this as well, right? It's not just me. But this particular person sent me back quite an abusive email, telling me that they would not meet with me because they just absolutely do not believe in pyramid selling. And no matter what I said to them, they wouldn't believe that I wasn't helping pyramid sellers. And they went off on this great big rant telling me how smart they are and how silly I am and all of this sort of stuff. Now, at first, I was thinking, oh, this is so annoying. I did this reach out and look at what's happened. And I was really cross and I felt really frustrated. But also in that moment, I was able to have a little bit of a look at it and think about what they were showing me. And do you know what I gained out of that? Was a realization for just how passionate I am for this industry, how passionate I am about changing the way that people see this industry, that stigma that it's had for all of these years. But also, I found myself wanting to argue back to this person to tell them that this industry has changed so many lives because for so many people, it gave them a purpose again. For many people, and I know some of them are the people listening to this very episode, you were struggling to get out of bed in the morning. You didn't have a purpose. You didn't feel like you were good at anything, or you didn't have anything that was giving you meaning or hope. And suddenly this industry popped up in your life and you were able to start a business without all of the overheads, with full support and the incredible community that came with it. Plus, you were able to connect with some amazing products or whatever that might be for you that you really enjoy and that bring you joy. And I suddenly found myself wanting to argue back with this guy because he just didn't get it. And I realized, do you know what? This is exactly where I'm meant to be. I love this industry so much and what it does for people. So it actually brought me closer to that. So I guess my point being is that sometimes making those simple little connections, even with people that at first we think, what was this all about? We've got so much to learn and so much to gain from so many human beings out there. So don't shy away from connecting with people that you haven't connected with before or that you don't know very well, because that's how you master the skill of networking. And I can promise you, it's probably one of the most powerful skills that you can ever gain in business, is that ability to be able to speak to anybody, connect with anybody. And if right now you're thinking, because I reckon you might be, but I'm not very good at talking to anybody, it's just practice. Seriously, it's just practice. And I can give you some skills in another podcast episode to make conversation with anybody at any time, no matter what the situation. But right now, I just want to really encourage you. Don't have a plan. Just do some reach outs randomly. And I'll tell you something else. This is a bit of a weird phenomenon that I've noticed, and you might have noticed this too over the time, and that is that often the people that pop into my head or pop into my heart, which, two different areas, but sometimes I get that happen. I just get a feeling for somebody or a thought about somebody, and often that is for a reason. Because those are the times that when I lean into that and trust that and go, oh, I haven't spoken to that person in 8-9 years. And I do that little reach out, I realized there was some kind of crazy weird thing going on where they happened to need something that I was able to do for them, right at that time in their life. Maybe they've just thought of me. How often do you get people that go, I was just about to reach out to you, or I just saw you on Facebook, or I just thought of you and you did this reach out. That's so weird. It's not weird. I don't believe it's weird. I believe it's for a reason. So if someone pops into your heart or into your mind, lean into that, because it's often for a very good reason. And it may very well be that that person needs you in their life right at this point in time, or vice versa. So that's number 2. So do 1 to 2 little catch-ups, coffee, in person, lunch. Just see a human that you haven't connected with for a while, or maybe someone that you haven't ever properly met before. So that's number 2. Number 3 is this. This is my most favorite. And this one, again, has probably a greater impact on me and will on you than it does on the person that you're reaching out to. But you can see, and you will in a sec, it's also going to have a great impact on them as well. So this one is to send a random text, email, or messenger message, or WhatsApp, or a card, something hard copy if you want to. It could be any of those things, with a message of gratitude or encouragement. So I've actually got sitting on my desk here a pack of cards that, whenever I go and I find some blank cards on special in a box somewhere that look, fairly decent, I'll buy them and have them sitting here. And if I'm traveling, I carry some in my handbag as well, so I can take the time out to do this at any time. I like to do hard copy ones as well as sometimes do a text or an email. But what I'll do is sit down and I'll make it all about that person. And what I'll do is I'll send either a gratitude message or a message of encouragement. Now, maybe the person that served me in the supermarket yesterday that just so happened to, they just had a beautiful smile and they said something that was encouraging, or they did something that was just made them stand out. And what you've got to remember is when people do things that impact you, you know how you often walk away and you go, wow, that person went over and above. I guarantee you they very rarely, if ever, have had anybody acknowledge that. And the fear that I have is that if no one ever acknowledges it, maybe they'll stop doing it because they don't actually realize what a great thing they're doing. So in some ways, it's kind of our responsibility to encourage people so they keep going on that path where they're having a positive impact on those around them. You can't assume that somebody knows that they've got an infectious smile that makes everyone around them smile, or a laugh that everyone just loves to hear, or a great sense of humor that just breaks the ice in any situation, or, that they've just got a beautiful demeanor, or the things that they do have got a great impact that, is helping those around them so much more than what they realize. The simplest of things, maybe the person who cleans your house or your office, or, makes your coffee when you go to the coffee shop. Just those simple little things. So it might be a matter of writing a little card and giving it to them next time you see them, just to say, this is for you. I just want to really encourage you. It might also be, and when I'm going to go to the gratitude thing now, it might also be going back into your past a little and thinking about those people who have impacted your life to get you to where you are today. Now, it's very easy to focus on the positive impact, but what about those people who have challenged you in life that those challenges have led to you getting the growth that you needed, meeting someone you needed to meet, or, being in a new job that you needed to be in. It's really easy to look at some of those experiences and see the challenge of that experience and be grumpy about it. But what about the things you gained from that experience? Now, can I just tell you that when you do gratitude letters, notes, messages, or emails, it actually has a far more profound impact on you than it ever will on them. It's not, by the way, about forgiveness. It's about showing and feeling the gratitude. And when you take a moment to write that down, it actually really imprints it on you. So it takes you from that place of, seeing all of the negativity in your world, which, let's face it, we're humans, we're programmed to see the negative, but it takes you back into that place of focusing on the positive things. I can tell you right now, I speak to you about this as a bun in the oven, as a baby learning, just like you are. Every day I have to remind myself to do this because it's really easy to focus on the things that we dislike or that we see as bad things and not focusing on those positives. So it may be a boss that fired you. It may be a partner who broke up with you or treated you badly. Think about what that actually led to in your life. Who did you meet because of that? What job did you get because that happened? Are you in this industry now, in this beautiful business that you have, because somebody somewhere down the lines seemingly let you down? Or perhaps they've actually guided you towards something really special. We did this exercise in our Rise Up Inner Circle a couple of weeks ago, and we actually had some really huge aha moments for some people who realized that they were holding on to some things that they could let go of now. And so this gratitude, you can do this for the positive things as well, absolutely, but sometimes it's those more challenging things that actually have the far greater impact on you. And by the way, they may lead to some very special new connections with some very special old friends in your world. There are some people that back in my past really challenged me to the point where I didn't speak to them for many, many years. And they're back in my world because I stopped for a moment and I opened up my heart again and I was able to see what they did actually drew me to where I am now, helped me get to where I am now, even though it might have been challenging at the time. And don't forget, they've been through life as well. So who knows? Perhaps they actually really need to hear that message from you as well. So 3 simple things you can do each week. They don't take long, but I guarantee you that they will fill your cup and make you feel amazing. And you you will meet some incredible people as you go through this process and build those all-important relationships, not just sales and team, but in all areas of your life, which is so important. So I'm just going to quickly recap those 3. This will only take you 30 minutes once a week. And if you can spend more time on this than that, all the better for it. So the first one was random little voice notes. Just simply leave some voice notes for people checking in or touching base on things that you know they might have been up to or in their life, and show them that they matter and that they're on your heart. The second one is 1 to 2 in-person catch-ups a week. It might be just a simple coffee with somebody who you haven't met in person before, or somebody who you need to spend a little bit more time with or get to know, or maybe it's an old friend. And then the last one is random gratitude or encouragement messages. And that can be done in a multitude of different ways. But I also mentioned that I love to do a hard copy card every now and again that I mail to somebody, without, of course, ever having any kind of a hidden agenda, underlying expectation of any response. This can be a really powerful thing. So that's it from me today. I just wanted to give you these really simple steps to making meaningful connections, because not only will they build your business and help you grow, not just team, but team that you are connected to on a whole different level, people that know that they matter. It's also going to help you to build up your own life, build up your own connections and needs, because let's face it, for the last few years, real connections and relationships is something we've struggled with, all of us globally. There's not a human on this planet who hasn't had a struggle with making those connections in the last few years. And so let's get back to that, because it's so important for us as people. But the last thing is that it will help you grow and learn as well. Sometimes the people we connect with have got incredible wisdom, but also sometimes they challenge us in difficult ways. Hence the example I gave you earlier. But look at the things that shows us. So I hope that this has been helpful for you today. I'd love to hear from those of you that jump in and give this a go. Do just 30 minutes for the next couple of weeks and see what sort of an impact that has on you, but also notice what impact it has on your business as well, because I guarantee there'll be a flow-on effect. That's it from me today. Have an amazing rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you on the podcast again next week. Bye for now. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. If you love listening and you found that this was helpful for your direct selling business, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also check out the recommended video that's popped up on your screen right here. I look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.